Superliminal. It's all yours, Ozmourn. Take us out.
All right, thank you so much, Nick. And hello, everyone. Again, I'm Ozmourn again, and I am so excited to be closing off this day with one of my personal favorite speedruns that I do, Superliminal. It is all collectibles that we're going to be doing. It's a completionist category similar to how Chamber was, and it is, in my opinion, the objectively most entertaining category of this game. There is a more beginner-friendly category that we usually encourage people to start with, glitchless. It is our most popular category with over 500 runs on the leaderboard, which is absolutely amazing. So if you're interested in what you're seeing here, I highly recommend coming into Superliminal and testing out what could be good for you. And unfortunately, I cannot show off any percent at the end because it's insanely inconsistent, and it's also not that. It's also a little bit longer than 42-second world records, unfortunately. And so right here, we're just going to be seeing the main run that we're going to be presenting, all collectibles. If you saw this that I did GDQ this year, you're going to be seeing it again, and hopefully you can see it in a bit more chill environment than the high stakes with 60,000 people watching. And first and foremost, we're going to be you saw that I cleared the achievements and tracked items just so we can start over and collect everything from scratch again. And we're going to be starting off in induction. Timing will not begin when I enter the level, but rather it'll begin when I walk through the door. We sign the terms of service for good luck, and the run will begin in 3. Actually, hold up. Because I want there to... Okay, the speedrun timer is now on. Okay, now the timing will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Wonderful. I wanted to turn that on because there is an in-game timer that we have that takes out loads and such, and so get a bit more accurate representation of what I'm going to be doing. So right here, we're going to be taking this chess piece and just not do that. The normal intro that I put here is perception is reality in Superliminal. What does that mean? It means that we can manipulate objects to be as big or as small as we want them to be, which allows us to do really crazy glitches like this. That is what I wanted to happen. Usually I don't mess that up. And so we can just go through here, and we're just going to be walking across nothingness, or just floating across nothingness here. Essentially what I did right there was an out of bounds launch. I made the object so big that there is no space between me or the object, and there's no space between the object or the ceiling. And so when I jump, the game really doesn't like it that me and the object are taking up the same space. And so it usually does one of two things. It gets rid of me or it gets rid of the object, whichever is the path of least resistance. And in that case, it was the object. Or no, in that case, it was me, I should say. Excuse me. Thank you. Wonderful. And so the rest of this level is mainly glitchless, and we use that in order to grab that one chess piece that's a collectible, but the rest of the collectibles are at the very end of the level. Induction in itself is a very difficult level, especially in other categories, as it is reset hell for a lot of people. Me personally, I think the second level is reset hell for all collectibles. And right here, we're going to see how the game perfectly lines up in its resize mechanic in order to line ourselves up with those two buttons as we make the sign bigger and resize it against the wall. And now we are going to be doing a strat called dairy free, where if you open or you turn on that button and then we just push open that wall, because that wall is scripted to fall down if you press that button. And the reason it's called dairy free is because usually you have to have a piece of cheese, like a giant piece of cheese that you use to knock down the wall, but you can just move it across as long as it's still falling when you push it over. And then we're going to be using a little bit of level geometry that kind of juts out in the corner right there in order to jump over to the other side and grab a blueprint. And that is all the collectibles in induction. And so I forgot to mention the type of collectibles that we're going to be seeing right here. There's 5 of them. There's the fire alarms, the fire extinguishers, these ones right here. Those are the minor collectibles, and you're going to be seeing me go out of my way a lot to just move around and collect these whenever I can. They're pretty difficult, and they're probably the source of time loss for a lot of really new runners, primarily because it's just really difficult to keep your momentum and keep your movement going while simultaneously having to go out of the way and do a lot of precise mouse movement in order to accurately grab all of these collectibles. But the other collectibles that we saw were chess pieces, which was the first collectible that we saw, blueprints, which is this guy right here, and we're also going to be seeing constellation rooms, which I'm going to be introducing in a little bit. And so those are really weird out of context, but of course within the context of the game they make a bit more sense. But then again, not a lot of the game makes sense because you're in a dream, and so that's like the whole point. And right here in optical, you can see that, as the name implies, it's going to be all about optical illusions, including looking at a painting and it suddenly becomes a solid object at a specific angle. And in this next section, we're going to be doing first going out of our way to grab this fire alarm and fire extinguisher. And then we are going to be doing something called jump resizing. That is it. It's just jump, click, click, and then land, and then you repeat. When you do that, the object gets bigger underneath you, and that was originally intended to be an intended mechanic, but the developers decided to be a bit too complicated for a casual player to figure out, so they decided to scrap the idea. And now right here, we're going to be doing is a glitch called a warp launch. Essentially, you made an object really, really big, that door. And we made it so big, and then we turned it into ourselves. When we turned it into ourselves, you can see that it disappeared. It actually became so big, bigger than the level itself. And so when we let go of it, it launches us upwards, because again, the game doesn't like it when you and the object take up the same space. But the object, in this case, immediately gets deleted because there is a deletion plane underneath the level that if anything goes out of bounds, it gets deleted and then respawn back where it's supposed to be. And so that allows us to safely perform the warp launch. And right there, as you saw, was the, oh my god, what's going on here? I've never been confused with that fade out before. And the warp launch, the thing that we did after the warp launch was we went to go collect a constellation room. I'm gonna be playing a little bit of a game with y'all. If you can guess what constellation it's going to be, and if you watch my GDQ run, you cannot guess because you probably already know what they are. Right there, we're going to be doing another launch with that green chess piece, and you can just launch upwards, similar to how we did the very beginning of the run, to collect this chess piece right here. This catwalk is a bit of a relaxing part. Usually during runs, this is the part of the run where I like to, hydrate a little bit. Make sure you stay hydrated, folks. And in this last room, we're going to be doing just a natural thing that any human being would do. We're just going to grab the moon right here, and there's an exit on the moon. We're just going to put it right here, and then we're going to grab a soda can. Yep, there it is. Perfect. I want to make that a little bit bigger. Right here. Perfect. And then we're going to be going out of our way to grab this guy, and this guy over here. And then we're going to be taking this soda can, and then we're going to be resizing it. And we're essentially going to be doing the same launch that we did, just another launch, and making this object really big, kind of straightening it so that it's the same, so it's parallel to the walls of the room. Ooh, I forgot to bring that with me, but it's fine. We can just grab it through here. Perfect. Wonderful. And now we can just keep this guy right here. We're going to put him right there, and then grab this final blueprint and that final alarm and extinguisher. With the exception of the very first level, most of the levels in this game are going to be ending in this hallway sequence. You just go down the hallway, go into the elevator, and that's going to be the end. And each level ends with like a specific loading screen that's like randomized. And so even if your like machine is done loading the next level, it will in fact like wait for the animation to stop before going to the next level. So that's just another reason why we've gotten rid of load times and the timing, loading screens and the timing, so that we don't have to deal with another like just random factor. That, and plus your machine might not be done loading. And right there, we're going to be grabbing a mug. If you guessed mug before when we entered this constellation room, I will give you 27 points. The points lead to nothing and do nothing, but you will have them, and I think that's satisfaction enough. And so after that, we're going to be going to the main bulk of cubism, and cubism, as the name implies, is all about cubes. But ironically, the first puzzle that we do that's supposed to have a normal cube in them is one that we skip entirely by just doing that. And in this next room, there is a chess piece in this vent. You can just grab it like that. I do not know how you're supposed to grab it casually. I've never gotten it casually. And I do not know what the intended solution for grabbing it casually is. I don't know if anyone really knows. I'm sure there is a way, but I don't think anyone in the community knows, because they all just got it that way, the way that I just did right now. And we're going to be taking this half cube and we're going to be just clipping out of bounds like that. What I just did was a ledge grab. Essentially, if there's a piece of level geometry that just juts out a little bit, you can ledge grab onto it. And then when you ledge grab, when you're doing the animation of ledge grabbing, the game does not check for collision at all. And so you can just go through things as you're like being pushed forward in the ledge grab animation. And in this next room, you think it's gonna be normal cube. Surprise! It's actually sliding cubes. Going up here, grab this blueprint, go back down, and go through here. And usually you think this next room has to have a normal cube in it, right? Well, no. Why would it? So it's going to be sides of cubes instead. And the fact that the side of the cube balances perfectly, that is actually only possible on this specific patch of the game. Because any patches after that actually have messed up the physics. And so the side of the cube will actually like just fall down. But in this specific patch, the side of the cube stays standing. And so we're going to be grabbing this sign and this blueprint and this fire extinguisher. Grabbing 2 more fire alarms. And then 1 final fire extinguisher at the very end. And that is cubism. Perfect. Feeling lucky? Casinos. All right. So this next level, it is Blackout. However, before we go into Blackout, we actually have to go out of our way to get another constellation room. If you can guess what this constellation is, I will give you 37 points. Again, these points count towards nothing and do nothing, but you will have them. And that is in and of itself a better prize. If you guess cheese wheel, you get 37 points. All right. So that is the first constellation we need to get in Blackout, and you actually want to restart level there and not restart checkpoint, because if you restart checkpoint, it'll put you at the side of the bed. Meanwhile, restarting level will put you at the foot of the bed. Why that is, I'm not totally sure. In this first hallway in Blackout, we're gonna have like 12 fire extinguishers that we need to collect, and they have like this really awkward movement that's kind of optimal if you want to like get them really fast. The world record holder Sapphire, shout outs to her. She is infinitely better at that movement than I am. No matter how much I practice it, it just feels really awkward to do. A little bit of flashing lights warning right here. As we approach this, the lights flickering. Blackout itself is meant to be a little bit of a twist in the usual feel of this game. But before I get into that, we're just going to be taking this object and pushing it through the wall. And just, excuse me. You're not cooperating with me today. Come on, please. Oh my God, it fell through the floor. I can't say that that's ever happened before, but it rarely does. Please just cooperate with me. Thank you. Perfect. That's what we want. I don't know why that was so hard for you to do. You see how easy it was? And now we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again over here. And if for whatever reason we can't push it through, the door will. But we did it so much easier that time. And as I said, Blackout itself, it takes the whole perception, it's a bit of a twist. It takes perception as reality, the whole motif of this game, but puts it on its like in a more metaphorical sense. The vibe of this level is meant to appear as though it's going to be turning into like a horror game. But in reality, it's only as scary as you perceive it to be. And that's why there's not really anything that's threatening towards you. And you're going to see that more towards the end. Right here, another cool fun fact about Blackout is that it doesn't have ceilings for some reason. We performed another warp launch with that canister, and we can just go upwards, and the game just lets us because there just isn't ceilings. We performed this warp launch in order to get this sign right here, and what are we gonna do with this sign? You guessed it, it's another warp launch. Surprise, surprise. Excuse me. Thank you. Getting this one, and this specific warp launch actually has a name. It's called Redout. The reason being is because when you warp launch with an object like a sign that emits light, the deletion plane at the bottom of the level, it actually does get rid of the object, but it does not get rid of its volumetric lighting. If I were to go into no clip mode in the cheat, in like the practice mod that we have, we are able to just look outside and it's just like a bunch of flashing red lights. But meanwhile, within the confines of the level, the rest of the level is just going to be bathed in this red light because, as I said, when you're doing a warp launch, the object becomes bigger than the level itself. And so by letting go of it and having it deleted, excuse me, thank you, okay, wonderful. But having deleted, you can just bathe the entire level in red light like this. It's beautiful. And we're going to be turning on this idea generator, and we're going to be using this can of beans, and we're going to be warp launching. We're going to be launching with it because, you know, what else do you do with a can of beans? Oh my goodness, that is not the launch I was referring to. But rather, it is this one right here. Taking this can of beans and boop, wonderful. Grabbing this, and that is the last major collectible of the run. Turning on the idea generator again after resetting a checkpoint, and now we're just going to be finishing off in the same hallway that we always do in each level. And as I mentioned, as you can see here at the very end, there is nothing that's really threatening to you. The blood that you saw on the floor was actually just red paint. It is Sunday, so they're serving beans, even though right now in real world it is Saturday. And there's just like nothing to worry about. All the signs that you saw that said die 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 were actually just diet soda cans. And so yeah, that kind of just shows that it's only as scary as one perceives it to be, which is a really wonderful motif of this game. Now it is clone. However, ironically, the first puzzle in this level doesn't actually involve you cloning anything, but you will be seeing some cloning in a bit. But first, we're going to just change the channel. Okay, channel 7, that's good. All right. As you can see, we can clone objects now. And because of the cloning mechanic, you can actually like clone objects from an infinite distance. That includes fire alarms. We're going to be using that to our advantage in a few places. For example, right here, you don't have to like walk all the way up to the fire alarm. You can just clone it from like right there, and it counts as being pulled. And now we're going to be doing something called a jump launch, in which you jump and then get launched, as the name implies. The reason that that's possible is because for some reason in clone and only clone is the only level in which you can look straight down, like this. Like it's the only level you can do that in. All the levels you cannot look straight down in, and because of that, we are able to do a jump launch with that alarm clock by just letting go and then jumping. I'm gonna change the channel again. I think that's channel 6. All right, that's channel 6. Yeah. This specific room, it is the red apple room. If you played this casually, you either solve this in 2 seconds or you solve it in 2 hours. The reason being because it's just that simple. Just clone the red apples onto the button, and that is it. And now we're gonna go straight into this next hallway. But first, before we move on, we're gonna grab another wonderful collectible right here. And now, one thing that I forgot to mention is that the cloning rules about how you just clone specific objects, there's not really like a set rule for them. You saw in the green apple room, I was able to physically pick up the object, and then like when I let go and then grabbed it again, that's when it cloned. But I was able to move it around. Meanwhile, with like the sign at the very end or the red apple room, whenever I cloned the object, it just dropped to the floor. I couldn't grab it. I couldn't move it around. And so it just depends on whatever the puzzle needs at that specific moment. There's not really one specific way of cloning or one specific rule of cloning. Can you guess what this is? If you can, I'll give you 14 points because you actually already saw it. It's a vending machine. I didn't give you a lot of time to guess, but if you did guess it somehow, I congratulate you. Reset checkpoint. And right here, we're gonna be grabbing, excuse me, thank you. Grabbing a few more fire alarms, and whoa, that fire alarm is already pulled. Oz, what is the problem here? Why is that fire alarm already pulled? Well, don't worry, it's not because we pulled in a previous save file or anything like that. The reason that fire alarm is pulled is because the fire alarms in this particular level are broken. And they're broken in the sense that if you pull one of them, you will also pull another one. There's 3 fire alarms that do that, and if you pull them, you'll pull another one in the level. We have bug reported that. The devs have acknowledged it, but they haven't fixed it even in modern patches. And so it's convenient for us as speedrunners, but we don't want it to impact casual gameplay, so that's why we've bug reported it. But thankfully, because of that glitch, because of that bug, we don't have to pull every single alarm. We just have to pull all except 3. But right here is another constellation room, a chair. If you guess that one, I'll give you like 2 points because that one's a kind of an easy guess. But the next one is not going to be that easy to guess. But right here, we're going to be going straight into Dollhouse. Dollhouse in itself is a pretty difficult level, especially in the glitchless category, only because the physics and specific mechanics of this level can be kind of inconsistent and at times. more specifically, the mechanic that you were introduced to, which is resizing the portals you go through, and in effect also resizing yourself. So you can see that I resized this dollhouse, and I almost forgot that. Almost forgot that one. I'm resizing the dollhouse, and because I'm resizing the dollhouse, I'm resizing the portal that you go through, and in a weird way, you're also resizing yourself, because if you put the portal too big, you're going to be really small inside of it. And if you do that too much, you're going to be like really small, and so you're going to be like not moving fast. You're going to be moving really, really slow. But on the other hand, if you resize it to be too small, and you're too big, you won't be able to fit through the other door at the very end of the puzzle, because usually at the end of the puzzle it requires you to resize the dollhouse to be bigger so you can fit through. And right here we're going to be playing Jenga the totally intended way. Boom. And we're going to be resizing this excuse me. We're going to be resizing this window and jumping through it. And we're going to be doing a little trick that I found, in which you can go through this portal that's supposed to put you back to size 1, and suddenly everything in this room is smaller, and allows you to just have a little bit of less travel distance between objects. Right here, we're going to grab this bouncy castle and whoop, whoop, whoop. Perfect. What? Huh? I understand what I did there, but that's never happened before. I understand what I did there, but I don't like that I did it. Essentially, if you like ledge grab onto a portal, and it'll put you on the other side of the portal, but in a really large size. And so I did that, but I didn't want to. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. We're gonna grab this again. Hopefully that doesn't happen. What I meant to do here was just climb on top and then grab the blueprint. I just wanted to grab the blueprint. That's it. We're not meant to walk through this bouncy castle right yet. We're supposed to do it here, and then walk through here and resize the bouncy castle to be on this diving board up here, so we can walk through the top door. And boom, grabbing through here. Wonderful. And now we're going to be doing a little glitch called arc skip, in which we take this portal and we're going to push it out of bounds right here, and then walk through the other end, and that allows us to grab this blueprint at the very end, resize this, and then just walk through it. That specific glitch, arc skip, is only possible on this specific patch, because as you can see, the door frame that was left there, as long as you keep looking at it, the door frame is going to be there. That is only possible on this patch, because in newer patches they got rid of the door frame being there. You have to look away before the portal spawn. And now we're in Labyrinth. Labyrinth is the second to last level, but it's also a really long level, because usually in a glitch category you're able to just finish it in 40 seconds, but the wall collectibles, since you actually have to grab everything, it's like 5 minutes. And right here you're going to be seeing me do what feels like senseless parkour, but there is a purpose to it. The purpose being that if you just if you're able to do the parkour correctly, you're able to jump over some audio triggers. And the audio triggers in this level, there are 5 of them scattered throughout this hallway, but you want to get to the very last one the quickest, and they're all in like a queue, so they won't like start until the first one is ended, until the previous one is ended. And so by grabbing this specific trigger at the very end, I thankfully skipped both of the audio triggers that we were able to skip. We were able to just skip to the very end and get transported back to the bedroom as soon as the final dialogue is finished. You can skip a third one, but only skipping 2 of them actually saves any time. Right here, we're going to be just lining ourselves up with specific visual cues on the wall, because when you get teleported back to the bedroom, your vertical positioning doesn't change, but your horizontal positioning does. And so you can just line yourself up with specific points on the wall and immediately spam click to get transported. Here is a frame perfect trick. Get it? Because I perfectly went through the frame. Any pun lovers in chat? Shout outs to Hippienator for that amazing pun that he did at ESA, and I've stolen it ever since. And right here is a trick that I'm really hoping that I get first try because I'm not very well versed in its backup. And oh, I didn't even launch that. Hopefully I get this backup pretty well. And oh, perfect. Is that no? Wait, hold on. Come on. There we go. Oh, please tell me that's enough. Come on. There we go. No, that's still too steep. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Does that work? Oh, that works. Okay, perfect. So we want to get through this door. Usually what the door was supposed to do is supposed to launch you upwards. And as soon as it like goes down, but I didn't line myself up quite correctly. And so instead I had to rely on that backup. I'm not very well versed in the backup in order to do it fast, as you can quite clearly see. But thankfully we were able to manage through it without too much of a hassle. We're gonna be going over here and grabbing this alarm clock or a fire alarm on the floor, just walking through. And the rest of the level is kind of subverting your expectations. For example, like that. You thought we were gonna go upstairs with stairs? No, why would we do such a thing? We're gonna take the souvenir with us because why not? Actually, can we clip through this wall? No, we can't. But right here, it is the hardest puzzle in the game casually. You see this sign. We're gonna be in the opposite direction of the sign and then looking where the sign is pointing towards us, because whichever way that you look first is gonna have the do not enter, the stop, turn around sign, and whichever the second way you look is the door, and you want the sign to be pointing towards where the door is. And right here we're gonna be doing something called a slide launch, in which, guess what, you slide the cube and suddenly you launch. Look at that. Oh, I got that. Thank goodness. I got the ledge grab. I was hoping I would get the ledge grab. That's kind of finicky. I'm gonna put this on the wall as a nice painting. And we're gonna be grabbing this guy, and we're gonna be doing another slide launch with him. That's another, like so. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey guy, come on. Excuse me. Perfect. Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Knight. Anyway, we're going to be collecting a few more collectibles here, and we're actually going to be getting another constellation in this next room. If you can guess what this constellation is, you will get 1 million points, because if you've never seen this game or this run, you will not know, and you will not be able to guess. You have a few more seconds. Get your guesses in. Final guesses in right now. 3, 2, 1. Did you guess moon projector? No, you didn't. It's a moon projector. I can show off a little bit of what that actually is, because you don't see that in the base game, but you do see that in other games, in other part of the game that I can show off a little bit after the run. But right here, we're going to be grabbing this cube, and we're going to be, the next few sections are just like going to be transporting us to different parts of the level, advancing while we grab a few more collectibles. And once we drop down here, we're going to be turning around after grabbing a checkpoint. And as soon as we grab this alarm, reset checkpoint, and then turning around, grabbing 2 more, and then we have elevator maze. Elevator maze has a set path that we take in order to get there to the end the fastest. Well, the intended solution is actually just to get lost and start following arrows on the floor, but it's just to the same destination every single time. A lot of people think that that's RNG. It's not, when you're first starting out at least. But right now we're going to be going through a parking lot, but surprise, the parking lot isn't real. You can just go and activate the walls. You don't even have to be facing them. You can just activate them like that. And as soon as you activate them, this specific room appears, and we do it at that angle so we can climb onto the chair and then onto the building in order to grab the blueprint, the last collectible of Labyrinth. And now we're in the final level, and we're going to be reset. We're going to be doing a few more wacky glitches here. However, I will admit that if you are photosensitive, that watch with caution, because we're going to be seeing a lot of moving lights here and moving parts in this particular level. Right here, we're going to be putting this clinic out of bounds, similarly to how we did with the portal in Labyrinth. And we're going to be going over here and grabbing this blueprint because the level geometry of this game is kind of close to one another in this specific level, and so we're able to do that. And as soon as you saw me put like the clinic through the door there, and when you put the clinic through the door, you're able to like go back to size 1, because the reason that works is because there is meant to be a cutscene at the beginning of the game which would put a portal into itself. And in order to prevent the any soft locks, the devs have it so when you put the portal through itself, it goes back to size 1. Except that actually works with any portal in the game. They don't bother to check which portal you're putting it through, and so we can just use it to our advantage. And now we're going to be grabbing this guy right down here. Perfect. And now we're going to be grabbing over here and putting this guy to bounds. Wonderful. And we're going to be pretty much doing like the same thing that we usually do. Grabbing this clinic right over here. First of all, grab that guy. That's the final blueprint of the game. Grabbing this one and putting this clinic through here. And now we're going to be grabbing this chest piece. And now we're going to go over and grab the final constellation of the game. If you can guess what constellation this is, I will give you 67 points. I'll give you 67 points. Get your final guesses in right now. Boom. It is a piano. If you guess piano, congrats. You get 67 points. I hope you keep a track of your points, because I have not. Restart level, and then we're going to grab one last collectible, and then we have to finish the game. First and foremost, we're going to be activating this portal, and then we're going to be going right here. And then we're going to go into Jungle Speed. Oh, oh, thank goodness, I'm just small enough for that. And we're going to be going in the Jungle's Bistro. Jungle's Bistro has one collectible in it, and that is the end of all the collectibles in this game. We've collected all of them, and now we are going to just go straight to the end by going back to where we put this part out of bounds, and we're putting the portal actually through here this time. Excuse me, thank you. That this thing has a mind of its own sometimes. And we're going to be putting the portal through this, or putting the clinic through this portal, so we can go over here, and we're going to be grabbing this chest piece and resizing amongst this along this door frame, and then immediately jump out of bounds like so, similarly to how we did at the very beginning of the game. It's gonna be the first and last glitch that we do. And if the game wants to cooperate with me, please, we're able to just clip out of bounds like that and just hold forward, and eventually we will enter the end level trigger that is right there. This is the final fall. It takes a good amount, usually 23 seconds, because you fall from a set place in glitchless, but from this specific one, I'm not sure how long it'll take. But yeah, that is Superliminal, all collectibles. Timing is going to end. We're going to go through a loading screen. At the other side of the loading screen, that's when timing is going to end, when I hit the alarm clock and wake up at 8 a.m. So time will end in 3, 2, 1, now. 3042.9. Pretty good. Nick, what was my... I might have gone over estimate on that one, actually. Could you mind telling me what my final time is? Nick? RTA?
Yep, your RTA was 31:55.
Whoa! 5 seconds under estimate. I'm still under estimate. Oh my god. I was surprised. I thought that I was going to go over estimate on that one. That's still under estimate. Great. That's perfect. With still 5 seconds to spare. Amazing. My camera. Has my camera been weird this whole time? But that is Superliminal All Collectibles. It is a really fun run, and I'm super glad to have been showing it off here as the finale of the first day. And I highly recommend checking this game out, especially. It's much more tame than Antichamber and much more approachable, especially if you want to get into glitchless. I highly recommend checking that category out before you venture into other glitched categories, because the glitches can be a bit finicky to get used to. But we would love to sit through this cutscene because it's very emotional, but I wanted to make sure that we collected everything. Yes, 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 yes. No! I missed. What did I miss? What could I have possibly missed? Huh? Oh, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think I remember which ones I didn't get. It's actually very simple. It's gonna be 2 seconds long, or just really quick to get, because they're actually here at the very beginning. I got that one, and I got this one. It's is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. And is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. Okay. That's actually kind of embarrassing, because like there was a cutscene going on here, and I could have gotten those like these two collectibles while the cutscene was happening, and it wouldn't have lost any time. But I believe that that's everything then. Yeah, that's everything. So you did get a full all collectibles run, just unfortunately not within the time limit. Not all within one continuous go. So with that being said, there's a few things that these actually unlock. First of all, if you can go through here and just grab all of these guys. We also have a really weird FOV in the specific section. This is what you get for collecting all of the chess pieces. You unlock this area, get a golden chess piece. Perfect. Tester of the year. This game takes place in 1991. So do what you will with that information. Main menu, and collecting all the fire alarms. You can turn on the sprinklers. I'm gonna go into Dollhouse, because collecting all of the blueprints allows you to unlock these two rooms, one of which you will see a message from Dr. Glenn Pierce. First off, this one said this particular clock, I cannot tell what time it is on this clock. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. And so I'm gonna just turn on audio here real quick, and so we can like hear Dr. Glenn Pierce in this special message.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce, and I'd like to discuss the assumption that secret or out-of-the-way locations ought to contain valuable knowledge instead of pipes filled with squandered human potential. They usually don't. If you think about it, they probably shouldn't. It's bad design.
Wonderful. Thank you for that amazing message, Dr. Glenn Pierce. And now avocados. Yeah, you also unlock avocado runes. We've actually found a way to perform glitches with this, but they wouldn't be allowed in like any category, because this is like a new game plus thing, and we kind of for the time being we ban new game plus things. The reason being is because we ban new game plus things because of a very specific thing, which is the final thing that I'm going to show you as we finish out here. I'm going to go back into optical, and I'm going to go straight to just in this beginning lobby section. First of all, the one thing that I do want to say, that unlocking all of collecting all of the fire extinguishers, you have fire extinguishers. And then collecting all the chess pieces, you can anytime you see one of these monitors right here, just click on them, and you are brought to white space, actually, in which
Welcome back, Dr. Pierce. It's your move.
you can just collect, and you can just mess around with chess pieces. The reason being, you can just take this, analyzing possible moves, and calculating win probability.
Analysis complete.
All
I
right.
must resign.
Yeah, that's achievement that you get called
Congratulations, Dr.
Kasparov,
Pierce. You win.
in which you just move this pawn out of the way and then this rook next to the king, and that is checkmate. You just win a game of chess. That's a whole achievement. You're in this like beautiful room. You can see outside through these portals and such, but in reality, it's actually really close to the end of the game, like right here. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me. That's everything that the collectibles unlock. I highly recommend checking this game out. Check us out on speedrun.com, join the Discord, all that jazz. I super hope that we can get at least a few more people involved in this game. It's a big community, but I want more people in it. But yeah, Nick, is there any final words you want to say before we head out?
That was amazing to show two really complex runs like that back to back. It's been an absolute treat. So thank you for showcasing that for us.
Of course, thank you for having me, Nick. I really appreciated it. I'm glad to be here.
You are more than welcome. All right, we're going to quickly go to intermission, and then we'll just have a few last thoughts. See you in a second.